Hello, hello. Hi. Just giving it a few minutes for people to log on. I love how punctual you guys are on Instagram. I see 4 people on already. That's awesome. I'm always like skittering around my house a few minutes before doing all the things that I have to do. And one thing I have to tell you is it's hot here. I'm talking to the other camera when I'm looking away. The YouTube camera, the Instagram camera. But yeah, one thing I have to tell you is it's hot here, but we're not running the AC because it's loud. You might hear a bit of a fan in the background, which hopefully is nice, white noise, but I close all the windows. So I'm having my own hot yoga sesh. All right, so I'm Quinn, and this is Open Awareness Yoga. If there are any of you out there that don't yet know me, welcome to Tuesday Yoga Live. We'll need a couple of props for class, and these are just like your standard props that we use every class. If you have yoga blocks, you'll need 2, or hardback books, which make a great alternative. You want them to be pretty steady though, so that you can feel supported by them when your weight's on them. We'll be using them to balance. We may or may not be using a strap, yoga strap, tie, strap on your robe, but we will be using a blanket today. And you'll fold this, I'm using my radius blanket. You'll fold it in half once, so I'll show you. Take the blanket, fold it in half once, and then really from any end of it, just roll it up. If you took class last week, we put this under our, we use the roll blanket for everything, but we put it under our heels at one point. We'll be doing the same thing today. And then just set that aside. You won't need it for a while. I'll move it out of the camera line. And come to lying on your back like a starfish. So this is different from Shavasana in that you're gonna spread out and take up as much room as possible. So really spread your legs as wide as is comfortable. Spread your arms and take up space. So do what you need to make yourself comfortable. And eventually close your eyes, or if you prefer eyes open, you'll just soften your gaze. And tune into your breath and your body. Sometimes we can live our entire days without really checking in with the body. And there might even be a familiar or unfamiliar ache or pain that we just ignore because there's stuff we have to do. But we'll use this hour as a way of climbing back into the body. Moving it, breathing it, being the body, tying the mind to the body. You might notice already in your practice that your mind is happy to crawl into the body, or maybe it's flitting here and there, moving off into space, jumping from thought to thought, still working with whatever you've left, maybe thinking about what's coming. That's okay. As a means of connecting more deeply to the body, I want you to feel every part of your body that's in contact with the earth right now. So like you were lying in soft sand, and your body was making an imprint on that sand, where would those divots be? The back of your head, your shoulders, along the length of your arms, maybe the knuckles of your hands, the upper back, mid back for some of you. And then the buttocks. Some areas on the backs of the legs will be touching the floor. And your heels. And from each of these points, find yourself a little bit heavier. A little bit more released into gravity, surrendered to the earth. And if you're a visual person, perhaps you imagine that you start to grow roots straight from your bones through your skin at these points that are touching the earth beneath you, and down through the layers of your home, the foundation, into the soil, in through the bedrock, past the fossils and bones, all the way down to the core of the earth. And feel yourself connecting down into the earth in this way. And if you're not a visual person, perhaps it's just the feeling of heaviness as you awaken the sensation of heaviness in your body. And we'll shift the awareness from body to breath, but we'll tie the two together. So imagine that as you breathe in, you're drawing up energy from your roots, from the earth, and gathering it right beneath the navel. And as you breathe out, you're sending that energy down through your legs. So every inhale breath draws in to the space between navel and pubic bone, at the very center line of the body. And every exhale breath breathes out down the legs. And gradually, with your breath, focus the inhale and exhale just in the body. Trust that your roots are there serving you, but breathe in and out into this lowest space. This is the lowest tien, and martial arts considered the center of the physical body, the subconscious. And it roots us into our form. And we'll be working with the tien throughout class. Another visualization, imagine the waves coming into shore and flowing out from shore as you breathe. And here they move up past your legs into the lowest tien as you inhale. And as you exhale, that wave moves out from the lowest tien down the length of your legs. So a few breaths where you're breathing in, up the legs to the low belly, out, down the legs, through the feet. You can take focus, and this part of the practice might be the most challenging part of the practice for you. Maybe it's easier to move. We're establishing this breath here in stillness, and we'll use it again in movement. And so we'll also marry our upper body to the tien. So the next time you inhale into that low tien, stay there. And when you feel ready, you'll send your exhale up through the chest and out through the arms. And then draw it back in, settling into that lowest tien. So again, this could be like waves you're sending out from the low belly to the arms. The inhale breath gathers you back at this low center. A few moments with this practice. You may notice for you it was easier or harder breathing down into the legs or up into the arms. Be an observer, be a scientist as you collect your experience, and then stick with it, the experiment of yoga practice. And just for a few breaths, try breathing into that lowest tien and radiate that energy out through the legs and up through the arms simultaneously, so that your entire starfish being spread out wide on the floor inhales down into the center of your body and exhales out through each of your limbs. Soften your brain. It's an experiment. It's maybe a first time for you trying this. So staying with the breath into the low belly, Maybe softening your experience of the exhale, especially if it's challenging to focus. You'll walk your arms down by the sides of your body and then bend your knees slowly and bring the feet to the floor. I'm going from starfish to a very compact P-like shape. So hug the knees into the chest and rock side to side, massaging the low back out on the earth. Maybe you like to make circles on the low back, moving in one direction and then the other. And tie your breath to the low dantian even here, even as we begin the movement. Let's hold the right knee into the chest and extend the left leg long. You have the option to leave it bent, left knee if you'd like. And just hugging the right knee in and breathing into the low dantian. And if you missed it in the beginning, that's the space between the navel and pubic bone at the very center line of the body, so halfway between the skin of your belly and the skin of your back. Notice what's going on at your hips. Your right hip might be hiking up. If it is, press your outer right hip down towards the end of your mat. And still holding on to the right knee, press the knee slightly away from you so the elbows begin to straighten. And pull it back in towards your left armpit. So we're crossing the body with that right leg. It might not go as far as you would have thought. And just spend a few breaths here, noticing where you feel this stretch. This is one that I've been working with on a daily basis lately at the advice of a physical therapist and friend, April, that I've been working with. And I noticed that the longer I stay in this shape, the more I can actually feel what it's doing. At first it was like nothing, and after a few breaths, there was something that showed up there. And all of these shapes and poses you're welcome to do just one at a time on your own. It's a big playground for your body. So let's bring that knee back to center and place the foot on the floor and switch sides. Left knee into the chest. Right leg can stay as it is, or maybe you straighten it long. And find the low dantian, inhaling into your center. Maybe exhaling out through the legs. One straight, one bent. How does that change the experiment and the experience? And notice your left outer hip. If it's hiking and shortening the waist, press the left outer hip down towards the end of your mat. Working with your breath. Straighten the arms to move the leg away from the body and then pull it back in towards the right armpit, finding that cross body stretch. Again, inhaling into the dantian, exhaling out through the legs, inhaling up through the legs into the dantian, exhaling out through the legs. Continue. Know that the effort you put into concentrating the mind on the breath and the body is also the practice of yoga and will bring great benefit and reward. A concentrated, focused mind, a strong and supple body. And then release that left leg, place it down on the ground and slide your right foot to meet it. Bring the hands down along the sides of the body, palms face down, and tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. Broaden across your chest. And knit your front ribs together and down towards the front hip points to feel a strength enter your belly. And we'll bring first the right shin parallel to the floor, and then the second, left shin. So your knees are stacked over your hips, Shin parallel to the floor, you're making a 90-degree angle. Notice if you flattened your low back into the earth, that's okay, but maybe experiment with feeling your sacrum flat on the earth. And there's a little curve of the low back away from the ground. Either way, inhale. And as you exhale, straighten your right leg down towards the end of your mat without placing it down on the floor. So it's just at a hover. Inhale into the tien and bring your right knee back where it started. Exhale, left leg reaches out. Stay with it. Inhale into the tien, bring that left knee back where it started. So you continue with your breath. To make it less of a challenge in the core, you can send the legs straight up to the sky. Still good work. To make it more of a challenge, you can send the heel closer towards the ground. And every time you inhale, you're bringing the energy back into your center. Every time you exhale, you're sending it out through the legs. So take your last round, finish on your left leg. And when you're done, place the feet flat on the floor. Walk the feet as wide apart as the mat. And bring the arms overhead and let both of the knees fall over to the left. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. I practiced a women's class this morning named Jennifer Wooten. She's in Austin. I've never met her, but she helped inspire some of this series. Bring the knees back up to center, and drop them over to the right. I've also been working with a lot of somatics from a woman named Lisa Peterson, and all of these people have free content online, so if you like what you're getting, I can send you their direction. Bring your knees back up to center. Toe heel the feet so that they're in line with the hips. And then bring the hands back down alongside the body. Knees into chest, one hand on either knee. As you exhale, lift your head and shoulders off of the earth. Shoulder blades move down the back so the neck is long. Now hold your right knee with both hands. Inhale into your tien. Exhale, send those left toes out long. Inhale, both knees to center, change sides. Exhale, right leg out long. Continue. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Find your center as you breathe in. Send the energy out through both legs as you breathe out. Last time on the right side, in and out and in. Stay up, or if your head and shoulders are sore, lay them down on the ground. Inhale, both knees into the chest. Exhale, both legs out, arms overhead. Inhale, both knees into the chest. Let the low back round. Exhale, send the arms and legs out. Inhale, both knees into the chest, warming up the core. Exhale, firework. Inhale, back in. Last one. Exhale, out. The energy moves back in from hands and feet to the center as you squeeze into a ball. Then roll down onto your back and place your feet on the floor. Roll over onto one side and come to hands and knees. So tabletop position. Fingers spread wide, hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We'll do a few rounds of cat-cow. As you inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart and lift your hips. And this time, curl your toes under. Exhale, round the spine up to the sky. Point back through your feet, and as you dome your upper back, shift your hips back to tap your heels. Inhale, come back up, curl the toes under and find your cow pose. Drop your belly, lift your heart. Exhale, point back through the feet. Dome the spine and then shift back into this rounded child's pose. Find that breath into the tien. Inhale, curl the toes, lift the heart, breathing into your center. sending the energy out through your limbs. Exhale, dome the spine. Sit back into that child's pose. We'll add on this next one. Inhale, curl the toes, lift the heart, find your center. This time, exhale, downward dog, lift your hips high to the sky. Inhale into your center, knees come down to the ground, lift your heart. Child's pose is next. Exhale, send the breath out through your limbs and sink back to your heels. Inhale, moving forward, lift your heart, curl the toes. Exhale, hug the low belly, downward facing dog. Last time, inhale, drop the knees, lift the heart, shine the chest. Exhale, dome and child's pose. Inhale into your center, lift the heart, curl the toes. Exhale, out through your limbs, downward facing dog. Now with down dog, you can adjust your body in space so that you feel comfortable. If you're tight in the back of the legs, spread your feet wider. You can bend the knees here. If you're tight in the shoulders, turn your palms away from the center. But whatever you do, let the head hang. Shake it no. And here, feel where your feet and hands are connected into the earth in a similar way you felt your body connected into the earth in the beginning. Feel each point on the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet that are in contact, and imagine you're growing roots out through those points and into the earth. And when you found those roots, take a breath in from the core of the earth, traveling up through the legs, up through the arms, into your center, and an exhale breath back down through the limbs into the earth. Now bend the knees and walk the feet forward to your forward fold. Knees straight or bent, doesn't matter. Hands to the outer shins, or find your books if you use them in your forward fold to reach the ground. And inhale, come up halfway, flat back. Stay here. Shift your weight more forward into the balls of your feet, but keep your heels heavy. We're just finding those roots in the feet. And draw your top sternum forward so that you're taking any dome out of the upper back or working in that direction. One more breath in. And exhale, fold down. Press down into the feet, slight bend in the knees, and then drop the buttocks down towards the ground as you come up to standing. And that just helps support the low back. Don't move. Don't change where your feet are, okay? Maybe close the eyes, and again, find the soles of your feet. And notice how it feels standing on earth without having adjusted where your feet naturally landed when you stood up. Now, allow yourself to adjust the feet. And I might suggest bringing them underneath your sitting bones. So that's like mid-buttocks. Just to line up the force of gravity so that the weight of the body travels straight down through the length of the legs into the heels. So it feels like our bones or our joints are stacked more or less perpendicular to the earth. And we'll take a few rounds of Surya Namaskar A. First, establish the breath pattern. Inhale into the low tien. Exhale out through your limbs. You can do just the legs or just the arms, whichever you prefer, or maybe all four. And with your next breath in, float the arms overhead. And as you exhale, bow forward. Inhale, come up halfway. We've been here before. Find your center. Exhale, find your plank pose. Send energy out through the limbs. Knees down to the ground. Inhale into your center, already strong from the work you've done. Exhale, bend the elbows and lower all the way down to the earth. point back through the tops of the feet for cobra. Inhale into your center and let that help you float the chest off the ground. Exhale, downward dog. You can press into hands and knees and then lift your hips high. Find your center, breathing into the dantian, out through the limbs. As you breathe in, walk your feet forward. Breathe out and fold. Inhale, come up halfway, radiate from your core. Exhale, fold back down to the ground. Inhale into the center and come up to standing. Float the arms overhead. Exhale, release the hands down. One more time. Inhale, arms float overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plank pose, Ardha Chandrasana. Knees down to the ground. Inhale into your core. Exhale, lower down halfway. Inhale into your core. Exhale, lower down all the way. Point back through your feet. Inhale, Bhujangasana, Cobra Pose. Lift your heart. Exhale, Downward Dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So just giving you some Sanskrit names of the pose. Sanskrit is the language of yoga. It's an ancient Indian language. And many of them are just direct translations into the pose. So Adho Mukha Svanasana is downward facing dog. Adho is downward. Mukha is face. And I think it's Shavasana is dog. And then Asana, pose. Bend the knees. Walk your feet forward to your hands. Fold it in. And find your core. As you inhale, come up halfway. Core, I mean center. Exhale, fold back down. Press down into the feet. Find your roots. And as you inhale from the roots, come all the way back up to standing. And exhale, release the hands. We'll take Surya Namaskar seats, slightly different. Inhale into the core, arms float overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, come up halfway. Here's where it's different. Exhale, step your left leg back long. Lower your left knee to the ground. So here you might use your books in your hands if it's difficult to reach the ground. I'll show you what that looks like. But find the breath into the center and the exhale which radiates through the body, out through the limbs. Now if you're using those books, set them aside. Curl the back toes under, lift the knee, and step right foot back to downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale into the center. As you exhale, step your left foot forward between the hands. It might take a few steps to get there. Lower the right knee down to the ground. Breathing into the center dantian, or rather the lower dantian. You have two more centers. One is the heart and one is the head. Today we're working with that lowest dantian, the center of the physical body. And this work is also inspired by another teacher of mine, Matthew Schulman, also online. And here, plant the hands, curl your back toes under, lift the knee. Shift your weight into your left foot, your front foot, and step your right foot back to meet, or forward to meet it. Fold in. Inhale, come up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold back down. Find your roots in your feet. Inhale into the center, draw the body and the arms up. Exhale, release your hands. And then take a quarter turn and step your feet wide in the mat. Moving into some standing poses, which are great for cultivating stability on the earth and stability in your body. Bring the hands to the hips to begin. And then from this right hip socket, turn the entire right leg out. So the toes point towards the short side of your mat. Your knee is in line with the center of your foot, and the sitting bone is scooting underneath you in line with the knee and the center foot. Then angle your left toes slightly in. Bring your hands beneath your belly, so beneath the navel rather, covering up this area of the tien, and begin to send your breath into your hands. Same thing we've been doing, but now you can feel how the body grows as you inhale. And we'll add in a bend to the right knee. So first inhale into the tien. And as you exhale, bend the right knee into warrior two. We'll flow back up. Inhale, gather the energy into the center beneath your hands. Exhale, send the energy out through the feet, in through the roots and the feet to the earth. Inhale into tien. Exhale, bend. Take two more on your own. When your knee is bent, the next time stay. Hang the arms down by the sides of the body. And just let them be loose. Wiggle your shoulders. Another breath in to the tien. And now as you exhale, send the energy out through your arms and let the arms float up to a T. Inhale, feel them float down as if on a breeze. Exhale, send the energy out. The arm floats up on the energy. Inhale back into the center. Only letting the arms float as high as the energy takes them. Exhale, send it out through the arms. Last time, inhale into the center. And exhale, arms float up. One breath in here, stay. One breath out. And inhale, straighten your right leg, hands to the hips. Second side. First, parallel the feet. Then from deep within the left hip socket, turn the left leg out. Angle the right toes in. So the left foot is facing the short side of your mat. Knee is lined up with the middle of the foot, and your left sitting bone is tucking underneath you. Bring your hands to your low belly if that helped you. Gather your breath into the tien as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, bend into your left knee. We're moving dynamically here. So inhale to straighten and gather yourself. Exhale to bend and send the energy into the earth. Do about 5 of these on your own. And notice, if you can, an even weight, remaining consistent through the right and left legs. So as you send that energy out on the exhale, you're also sending it through this back leg. You're not forgetting where you're coming from. And when you feel ready, you'll bend into the left knee and stay. Hang the hands down, wiggle the shoulders, loosen up, just so that this breeze of your breath moving through you floats the arms without effort. All right, so we inhale into the tien, and we exhale, sending the energy up and out through the arms. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and stay. Breathe into the center. Breathe out through all limbs. Inhale to straighten the left leg, hands to the hips, and parallel the feet. So we'll take a balancing pose, Ardha Chandrasana. If you would prefer not to balance, you can stay in triangle pose. So grab one of your blocks or one of your books, and if you have one that's sturdier than the other, use that. Hold it in your right hand, and same as warrior two, we turn the entire right leg out and angle the left toes in. And so here, bring your book down behind the right leg, left hand on the hip. And we're in triangle pose. Inhale into your center. Exhale through both legs to establish an even grounding and a memory that you've got a back leg. And either stay here, perhaps working with your left arm straight to the sky, or if you'd like the balance pose, I'm going to take a step back so that I don't fall off of the Instagram screen. You'll bend gently into the right knee. Step your book about a foot in front of you on the pinky side of the foot. Bounce your left foot in about another foot. Inhale into your center. And as you exhale, float that left leg up behind you, sending energy out through the leg. You can keep the right knee bent or straighten the right knee. Flex through the left ankle, pull the toes towards the face. Inhale into that center. Exhale out through the legs. Keep your left hand on your hip or bring the left hand up to the sky. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. One more breath into your center and out through your limbs. And we'll come out with control. If you're in triangle, stay there. Ardha Chandrasana, folks, left hand to the hip, bend into the right knee and step the left foot back long. Walk your hand back in and come into triangle pose. And then everybody press down into the soles of your feet, find your roots. And then inhale up to standing, and we have a second side. So parallel the feet, book in the other hand, turn out through the left leg, angle the right toes in, and then place the book down on the ground behind the left shin ankle. Triangle folks, you can stay here. Maybe the right arm goes up to the sky. Everybody breathe into the tien. Breathe out through your limbs. And if you're headed into Ardha Chandrasana, slight bend into that left knee. Step your book out about a foot in front of the pinky toe side of the left foot. Hop the right foot in slightly. And now establish your center. Inhale. And as you exhale, send the energy out. And you might find that breathing in this way helps you with your balance. So we're lifting that right foot up into the sky. Or if you're in triangle, stay and breathe. Work with your tien. Here you'll notice if your book is quite wiggly, if it truly does support the weight of your body. Now flex through the right ankle, so send the heel behind you, pull the toes towards the face. Maybe bring the right hand up into the sky. Inhale into the tien. Exhale through all of the limbs. One more breath in, gathering yourself. One more breath out, sending the energy into space. Right hand to the hip, bend into the left knee. Step the right foot back long behind you. Book comes back towards the left leg. Straighten the legs into triangle. And when you're ready, inhale up to stand. Nice. So now we'll use the rolled blanket that we got from the beginning and place it at the back of your mat. And then stand right in front of it. So be careful. If you don't have a sticky mat, I don't want this sliding out behind you. Choose for yourself whether or not it's safe for you to use this. First, we'll start with the chair pose. So just stand in front of the blanket roll. Hands on the hips. Feet however you chose to put them. And they could be together. They could be hips at distance. Inhale here. Grow roots down through the feet, and as you exhale, bend the knees into a chair pose. So here, knees are in line with the center of the feet. That's about between the second and third toe. So you got your big toe, second toe, third toe. So if your feet are together, the knees are together. But if the feet aren't together, the knees aren't together. So no knock knees here. Want to activate these outer hips. Inhale into the tien. Exhale, float the arms overhead. Inhale into the center. Exhale, send energy out through the feet. One more time. Inhale through center. Exhale, breathe out through the limbs. And inhale, come to stand. Release the hands. And now we'll place the left heel onto the blanket roll. The left toes angle slightly out to the left, okay? So they're not straight forward, parallel with the short edges of the mat. They're angled off to the left side. And then we take a big step forward with the right foot. We're preparing for a warrior one. For a lot of people, it's hard to get the back heel on the ground in warrior one. That's why we're using this blanket. And even if you can't get the back heel on the ground, maybe you pick up some interesting information in the experiment with the blanket. So we've got a bend in the right knee. We're straightening through that back leg and moving the leg from inside out. So that means the inner thigh will move back behind you and the left buttocks moves away from the midline. So it's as if the left buttocks is trying to wrap around the outer hip. This is a neutral rotation or a slight internal rotation that we're working towards in the back leg. Now inhale into that dantian. Exhale, float your arms up. Another breath into the center. Exhale through the limbs. Last time, inhale. And exhale. Hands to the hips. Shift your weight forward into the right leg. And then step your left foot to meet it. And we'll step back and do the other side. So left heel on the blanket, toes angled slightly off to the left. Take a big step forward. Bend into the left knee. So here, back leg, we work it towards straight and we move it from inside out. So the inner thigh is moving behind you, the right buttock moving to the right. This is helping us get the proper orientation in the hips. And I say proper, you can do these poses all sorts of different ways, but I really like doing them in like particular ways because I've learned a lot about my body. Mostly, I've learned the habits I have when I try to get into the pose in a way somebody's teaching me that's new. Inhale into your dantian. Exhale, float the arms overhead. Breathe into your center, straighten your back leg. Send energy out through the legs to help you open those muscles. One more breath in. One more breath out. Hands come to the hips. Shift your weight into the left foot and step the right foot forward to meet it. Now, if you like using that blanket behind you, keep it there. I'm going to do another pose similar to that with the straight front leg, Parsvottanasana or pyramid pose. So starting from the first side, grab your blocks, by the way, your books. One of mine is like almost invisible against my background. Left heel, same way we set it on the blanket roll. Take a big step forward with the right. Now both legs are straight. Right toes face directly forward. Take an inhale breath into your dantian. Exhale, send it out through the legs, establish strength in your foundation. Inhale, lift your heart. And exhale, hinge at your hips to bring the books down to the ground. Now some of you might stay here up on your books. Some of you might need something taller, like a piece of furniture under your hands. And some of you might not need the books. Might bring your fingertips down to the floor. Inhale into your center. Exhale out through the limbs. Think about the orientation of the back leg that you just practiced in Virabhadrasana 1 and Warrior 1. Move that left leg from inside out. Inner thigh back, buttocks to the left. One more breath in. One more breath out. And here, let's bend slightly into the right knee. If you have books, get rid of them for a second. Plant your hands, and then step back into downward facing dog with both heels on the blanket roll. Inhale into your center. Exhale through the limbs. And we'll change sides from here. So as best you can, get that left leg forward. Grab your books or your piece of furniture and straighten both legs. Now the right heel is on the blanket roll, toes angled slightly to the right. Move the right leg from inside out, inner thigh back, right buttocks to the right. Both legs are straight. Inhale into your dantian. Exhale out through the limbs. How's your focus? Is it different from when you began practice? Working with the physical body in this way, with the breath and the concentration in this way, may have a result. You can kind of pick up on that at this juncture. And so get rid of those books, bend into the left knee, downward facing dog, heels on the blanket. Shake your head no. Shake it, yes. And then let it plummet from the spine. And bend your knees, walk your feet forward, your hands back. Come to the center of your mat. Grow your roots into the feet, into the earth. Use an inhale breath to come up to standing. Nice. So we'll take one more balancing pose. If you need the support of a wall or furniture for a balance, find that now. And here, stand as you did for chair pose, Utkatasana. So your feet wherever you chose to have them, together or hips width distance apart. Hands on the hips to begin. Inhale. As you exhale, chair pose. You can make it shallow. Breathe into your tien. Breathe out through both legs. Now as you inhale, lift your right knee up to the sky. Exhale, cross the thighs. You can tap the right toes on the ground, or maybe you cross right foot behind left ankle shin. Sink your hips a little lower. Attempt to drag your inner thighs away from one another. Feel that waking up the legs. And we'll add the arms. Inhale the arms out to a T. Exhale, right arm underneath left. Either hug the body or find full eagle arms. So we've crossed at the elbows, right arm under. You either bring the back of the hands together, or you cross again at the wrists and bring the palms together. And if that was too hard to figure out, just cross. Left arm on top. And we'll breathe in between the shoulder blades. Exhale to soften the shoulders away from the ears. A few more moments here. Inhale, lift the elbows up to shoulder height. If you're in eagle arms, exhale, press your forearms away from your face. One breath into the center. One breath out through your tangled limbs. And slowly unwind and come to standing. Hands on the hips. Inhale. Exhale, bend. Little chair pose. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, cross it over, toe tap or toe wrap. Sink a little deeper. Pull your inner thighs away from one another, waken up those outer hips. Inhale into the tien. Exhale, float your arms to a T. Inhale, stay. Exhale, left arm under. Either hug or continue crossing, bringing the backs of the hands together, or crossing at the wrists, bringing the palms together. Soften your shoulders down away from the ears. Inhale, elbows lift up to shoulder height. If you're in eagle, exhale, press the forearms away from the face. So just eagle arms. You're in eagle legs if you're wrapped. Send a breath into your tien, out through your tangled limbs, and then slowly unwind. Shake it out. Very nice. And then we'll come down to seated. And let's take a pigeon pose, actually. So there's a few ways that you can do this. If you know pigeon pose already, go ahead and go there. And actually, I'll talk you into it and I'll give you an option. So let's find downward dog. For pigeon pose, you bring the right foot forward, right knee to the right wrist, scoot your foot over to the left, and then straighten the left leg behind you. You can crawl the body down over that front leg. If you're like, no way, not doing that, it's fine. Here's your alternative. Lay on your back and take figure 4. So you cross your right ankle over the left knee, press the right thigh away from the face, either stay there or pull your left knee into the chest and hold on. These are the same stretch. There's just more weight on top of your right hip and leg when you're in pigeon pose. And you're also in pigeon pose getting an opening or a stretch to the hip flexors of your back leg that you're not getting on your back. That's okay. You got that same stretch and opening when you were in Warrior 1 with your heel on the blanket roll and your front knee bent. So regardless if you're in pigeon or if you're in figure 4, breathe into your low tien and send your exhale through your limbs. Now if you're in pigeon pose, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Straighten your arms, lift your chest off of your leg, curl your back toes under. Lift the back leg, hover the front leg, and then step back to downward facing dog. When you're ready, you'll move into the second side. Left knee forward to the left wrist. Swing the left foot over to the right side of the mat, and then lengthen your left leg out behind you. If you're in figure 4, and if you're watching me, I'm actually doing this, you uncross your legs. And cross your left leg over the right, left ankle over the right knee. Press the left thigh away from the face. Either stay here or pull the right knee in towards the chest. I realize I'm not doing the pigeon pose. You can do it in a way that feels comfortable to you. If you followed my cues, I didn't tell you to lay your torso down over your left leg, so you can go ahead and do that now. You're breathing into your center, tien. For those of you that like things spelled, it's spelled in a number of different ways, but the way I spell it is D-A-N space T-I-E-N. That's also spelled with a T-A-N-T-I-E-N. That's pronounced tien. It's Chinese, not Sanskrit. We're blending systems. So if you're in pigeon on the left side, you'll place your hands underneath your shoulders, straighten your arms to lift your chest, curl your back toes under, lift your back knee, hover your front leg, and step back to downward facing dog. When you're ready, you'll meet us on your back. If you're in figure 4 on your back already, just release the legs and take your time. We'll meet with both feet flat on the floor, knees bent. For those of you already here, bring your arms out to a T, palms face up. Leave your shoulders exactly where they are. Lift your hips up and scoot them to the right side of your mat. So you'll feel very wonky for a second. Crawl your feet over to the right as well. Then cross the right leg over the left. This is the same as eagle legs where we were standing. So you might just cross, or you might hook the ankle and then let the knees fall over to the left. Oh. If you've got any SI joint tenderness, that's the low back sacroiliac joint, you might like this shape, you might not. You can take a regular simple twist with the knees stacked one on top of the other if you'd like. To add a little bit of heart opening, because we didn't do a back bend today, you'll slide your left arm overhead along the floor and look over to your left. Slide your right arm overhead. So bring your left arm back out to a T, slide that right arm overhead, and then look in the direction of your knees away from that back arm. You might feel some opening through the right side chest. This is called twisted root. And so return to that breath into the tien, out through your limbs, through your roots. Relax here. No more effort, just let the body go. If you feel any pain or numbness or tingling, adjust the body slowly. Just quick, rapid, jerky movements, they could cause injury. And I know that when something starts hurting, it feels like, oh, I really want to move out of this. And yes, you should, but try to do so as slowly and calmly as possible. So here, slowly and calmly, bring that right arm back out to a T. And squeeze the legs together. Really squeeze those inner thighs together. Feel your belly on. And bring the knees back up to center. Uncross. Walk your hips and feet back to the center of your mat. Head back up to the sky. So for the second side, leave your shoulders and head where they are. Pick up your butt. Scoot it over to the left side of the mat. And crawl your feet over to the left as well. Cross the left leg over the right. And maybe loop the left ankle under the right ankle, shin. And let the knees fall over to the right. I often get a very nice feeling pop in my spine when I do this. If you want to add the arm, so left arm for sure this time. You leave the left arm on the ground, but just slide it towards overhead. And for some people, the arm wants to lift up a ton, and maybe you leave the left arm out towards the left side. But it's up to you to experiment and explore, and to choose what feels good for you in this moment, knowing that there's no right way that you're missing out on because your body is one way or another. The right way is being in your body and breathing. And to deepen the opening in your left side chest, turn to look over your right arm. And breathe into the tien and out through your twisted roots. Bring the left hand back out to a T. Squeeze your legs together. Feel strength in your legs and in your belly before you bring the knees back up to center. Uncross the legs. Center yourself on your mat. And give yourself a final squeeze. Hug the knees into the chest. And we're just reversing out the way we came into our practice. So here we're in a little P shape. When you're ready, you'll find your Shavasana. So knees can stay bent, knock in towards one another, or straighten those legs out wider than hips. And instead of starfish shape, we'll bring the arms down by the sides of the body, palms face up. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. Make yourself comfortable. And breathe. Once more, tune into the areas of your body that are in contact with the earth. Scanning from head to toe. Picking up what's really there and not what you would expect to be there or what was there in the beginning. And once you reach your heels, I want you to explore from heel to head for negative space, for the areas of your body that aren't in contact with the earth. So do that scan now. No rush. When you're done with that, take 3 more breaths into your tien and out, radiating through your limbs. And you can rest in your Shavasana as long as you'd like. You can join me for more yoga that's personalized to you on Zoom on Wednesdays and Fridays at 12:30 Pacific. And stay tuned for an announcement about a yin yoga class. Bye.